Um, just wanted to bring out some edification on the whole dreadlocks thing. We had somebody come to the camp, uh, guys with dreadlocks who also know that they're Israelites, and unfortunately, they didn't have the correct understanding on the law and the whole dreadlock thing. Even today, that's kind of the new thing. It's for you to have locks on your head. Everybody's got the locks. All the rappers are doing it, and of course, everybody's gonna follow it. Everybody's gonna follow the trend. But let's see what the Bible says for those people who are actually attempting to follow after what Yahweh Bashim Yahushua commanded us to do. This is first off, is 1 Corinthians 11:14. Doth not nature itself teach you? One second. Check. Doth not nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? But if a woman have long hair, it is glory for her. It's glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. And we know that from life. A woman's hair is her glory. The scriptures also say that. Uh, a man's glory is his woman. So we're not supposed to have long hair. But the number two argument they use is the vow of the Nazarite, because Jake likes to get out of stuff and try to use the Bible to justify their own wickedness, which you're really not supposed to do. This is the vow of the Nazarite, Numbers 6:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dried. Okay, so he's not supposed to drink any vinegar, he's not supposed to drink wine, he's not supposed to drink anything with grapes in it, any raisins. And a lot of things have vinegar in them that you wouldn't suspect. Hot sauce has vinegar in it. It's many things that have vinegar in them. Do these guys who say that they took the vow of Nazarite, do they not drink because of that? Verse 4, all the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, even from the kernels even to the husk. All the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head, until the days be fulfilled in thee which he separateth himself unto the Lord. He shall be holy, and shall let the locks of his hair the locks of the hair of his head grow. All the days he separated himself from the Lord, he shall come at no body. He shall not make himself unclean for his father, or for his mother, or for his brother, for his sister when they die, because the consecration is upon his head. Now the word Nazarite means separate. So this is somebody holy and separate. He can't even go to his he can't, if his father had a funeral, his mother had a funeral with a body, he can't go around that body because he's a holy man. He's separate. All the days of his separation, he is holy unto the Lord. That's correct. And it's going to tell you, if any man die very suddenly by him, and he hath defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall save his head in the day of his cleansing. On the seventh day shall he save it. Right, so he has to cut his hair if he becomes unclean by a dead body. And then you have some more stuff down on what a Nazarite is supposed to do. Different sacrifices, different offerings. And a lot of Israelites, I'm not an expert. I'm just a regular Israelite, but a lot of Israelites, they talk about that they're Nazarites and the high priest, but there's certain things according to the law that comes with that. And I'm willing to bet that these guys don't follow that. These guys, they don't even know, or the guys who came to the camp, they didn't even know that the Sabbath is the new moon. They're still following the Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. They don't follow the high holy days. They don't follow any customs according to the Passover either. So you can't just call yourself a Nazarite because you want to have long hair. You know, you want to look like a rapper. You want to had a dreadlocks flowing. But let's go back up to that word locks, because that's where all the confusion occurs. 1 second. Okay, let's look at locks. Parai. Parai. Hair, long hair of head, locks. Okay, it just says locks. It's not really super clear. It just says locks, even though it is talking about braids. It's not talking about dreadlocks. It's not talking about dreads. It's talking about braids. And I'm gonna show you why it's talking about braids. Now this is Judges. I'm gonna jump over to Samson. You're gonna see an example of this. Samson took the vow of the Nazarite. Samson was an Israelite. He was a judge, so he knew and understood the law. He knew and understood you can't have dreadlocks. Oh, this is another quick fact. I want to read this before I jump to Samson. Dreadlocks are more than a symbolic statement of disregard for physical appearance. Both Eastern and Western traditions hold that bodily, mental, and spiritual energies mainly exit the body through the top of the head, which that is true, and the hair. If your energy is in your head, that is true. If the hair is knotted, they believe the energy remains within the hair and the body, keeping the person more strong and healthy. False. An excellent example from Western tradition is biblical Samson. No. See, and now they go off. So this is a huge stronghold for our people. Before I jump to Samson, I want to just give a shout out to the brothers who've already touched on the subject. You got a whole bunch of videos, but when it comes to breaking down the law, you know, a lot of these guys, like the guys who came up, they just don't want to look up the subject. They just want to remain simple on the subject. You got great millstone videos up about dreadlocks, and then of course they did the whole Bible movie where they made Samson. First off, they made Samson black, so they know black people, the Israelites. He's dealing with a he's dealing with a Philistine woman, which Philistines, those are sons of Ham, and they're also dark-skinned people. I'll say it like that. Samson was dark-skinned, the Philistines were dark-skinned, so they got that right, but then they put him with dreadlocks. Incorrect. And I'm going to show you why. Judges 16:13, and Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. So he had 7 locks in his hair. The word there, went ahead and right clicked on it. It's makalapa. Makalapa. Braids, locks, plaits. Plaits of hair. What is a plait? A single length of hair made up of 3 or more interlaced strands of braid. Okay. So basically he was saying, if you interweave the braids that are on my head, right? If thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web, which the web, that's talking about the loom. Yeah, yep, the loom. Then that'll take my strength away. And she fashioned it with a pen and said unto him, the Philistines beyond thee. And he awakened out of his sleep and went away with the pen of the beam and with the web. So she was trying to actually do that. She was trying to use that to interweave his hair. And you can't do that with dreadlocks. You cannot weave dreads because it's old, it's dead hair. You can't weave dreadlocks like that. And if you just examine the appearance of it, because this is what Samson had. He had plaits. He had 7 braids in his head, something like that. Braids, long braids, braids. That's why it says plaits. And then, yeah, I even looked up the Strong's Concordance, which these other guys, they don't look up the Strong's Concordance. You got to look it up in the Hebrew to understand the true definition. It says the same thing, a plait of hair. A plait of hair. Locks. And the thing that kicked off our people having the abominable custom is when, if you look at the history of Jamaica, you had a lot of Indian farmers shipped to Jamaica. They're basically slaves, East Indian slaves. I believe it says 20,000, but it was a lot of them. They were shipped to Jamaica. Along with them came ganja, which is Sanskrit for hemp, right? Hemp, we know, marijuana, and dreadlocks. And just like this says, dreads are formed by neglecting physical appearance to worship Shiva. Shiva, of course, the Indian god of death and destruction. And look what he got, snakes on, and dreadlocks. So there's nothing new under the sun. All these heathens, they've already, that's disgusting. All these heathens, they've already done these abominable ass customs. Which the snakes, looked it up, they symbolize death. That's why he has them wrapped on his head. You having these nasty dreadlocks, that symbolizes death. That doesn't symbolize any kind of enlightenment or anything like that. So this is a heathen custom. Samson did not have dirty, nasty, unclean dreadlocks on his head like a heathen. It doesn't even look presentable. It doesn't even look good. Yeah, this dude, yeah, man. That shit just looks nasty. You can't clean the core of a dreadlock either. You cannot clean it because it's locked up in this matted hair. And this demon was put on our people down in the Caribbean. Look at that. You got the dreadlocks. He's summoning different demons. This is not a holy custom. talking about plaits, interwoven locks or interwoven braids. And it's clear. Wham bam. But I'm gonna just read this just to make sure. Jamaica was conquered, right? After the rebellions, plantation owners had to seek new workers to till their fields and begin to import indentured servants from East India. It was these East Indian laborers who brought over the first seedlings of cannabis indica that sparked the movement. India's influence over cannabis in Jamaica is also evident in common phrasing ganja. The preferred moniker for cannabis is a Hindi word passed on from Sanskrit. Ganja means hemp or hemp resin. Cannabis quickly became a mainstay, right? Because it's a heathen custom that our people adopted, particularly among the lower working classes of society. It was common in the rural countryside in the poor black districts of larger towns. That's right. Then they outlawed it, but people still did it anyway. And then shortly after, as you can see, in the 1920s, you got these damn Rastafaris. So, and that's kind of a subject for another lesson. But you can see this whole heathen custom took over Jamaica, and you know the tribes, the Israelites. We like to take heathen customs, and then we put them with our own spirit, and then we make it look cool. And that's basically what happened. They made smoking weed look cool. They make dreadlocks look cool, even though it's nasty, dead hair that's on you, matted hair that is used to worship Shiva. Maybe that's it on that. Try to be as clear as possible, because you still have a lot of our people running around with dreadlocks in their hair, talking about that's biblical. No, it's not. Hopefully that was edifying. Any questions, please post them. But I mean, it's a simple subject. It's like it says, plaits of hair. But call all Yabashim Yahushua Bashim Rakwa Kadash, the ones, the apostles, the elders, the great millstone. Peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim. Shalom.